Hello, friend, Carl Anthony on the digital airwaves as Reuters Automotive USA 2024 from the Huntington Place in downtown Detroit has concluded. For the majority of the 2024 event, held October 21st through the 23rd, I was helping to host and moderate panels on the Blue Stage, which was focused on software-defined vehicles. Here are some key takeaways from my time on the Blue Stage. It's my hope that you can use these as actionable insights and that they will be beneficial to you and your colleagues. I cannot take credit for these insights as they come from the many distinguished panelists who I shared the stage with. I am not the originator here, but rather the messenger.
Moving at the speed of mobility, this is AutoVision News Radio with Carl Anthony in Detroit, Michigan.
Generative AI has applications for automotive manufacturing. And the panelist on the Blue Stage spoke about how AI can enable the next level of manufacturing. In other words, we are keen to discuss the car of tomorrow, but we also need to discuss the industry of tomorrow. What does the next level of the automotive industry look like that would build the next level of the car? If we have this view of what this next level of the automotive industry looks like, perhaps AI can support the journey to get there. It's also important to note that everything is subject to change. One panelist spoke about how generative AI is evolving, and that 10 years from now we might call it something different. It's possible we would not use the term generative AI any longer. When it comes to connected vehicles, we have to collect the right data with regard to cost and the best customer experience. How do we harmonize this process? Because as one panelist noted, the ecosystem here is complex. Data consent is also important. Does the driver or owner of that vehicle understand how all of the data is being used? How should we, as the automotive industry, communicate this in a way that consumers can understand? Likewise, our cybersecurity and connectivity panelists spoke about how gold is in the data and that bad actors are always after that gold. The panelist here encouraged us to examine the attack vectors that put the automotive industry at risk and do everything we can to shut out bad actors so they cannot access the gold in the data. Software-defined vehicles, or SDVs for short, were a main topic here on the Blue Stage. Can SDVs be a gateway to a safer vehicle? The overwhelming answer was yes, although challenges remain, be it an engineering challenge around different ADAS systems or helping consumers gain more acceptance of the active safety features in their vehicle. The experts on this panel spoke about the role of regulation when it comes to creating safer roadways, while also examining some of the main causes of accidents and collisions, namely speeding, distraction, and intoxication. The difficulty is that while an SDV can support the sensors necessary for a more robust ADAS suite, if a person is speeding or not wearing their seatbelt or finds those ADAS features annoying, well, you can see the cycle of difficulty that our panelists wrestled with. Perhaps the biggest takeaway was that while we can and should leverage partnerships across the industry to create a safer vehicle, we should not compete on safety. One of our panels on the Blue Stage looked at the idea of what it takes to design an SDV architecture that would provide an optimal driving experience. The experts here suggested that while EVs are important and that one expects a certain level of driving experience with an EV, that we should widen our lens. When it comes to SDVs and designing a vehicle architecture that would deliver the best driving dynamics, we have to consider the entire powertrain landscape, which includes internal combustion engines and hybrid powertrains. Likewise, we also need to consider the talent base. It's important to train and develop the next generation of engineering talent who will be designing the SDVs of tomorrow. Ultimately, a software-defined vehicle is more than just a smartphone on wheels. It's not a tablet with tires, although it's a common analogy. While there are some familiar things that would resemble our phone, such as an OTA update, a car and a phone are really two different things. What we can do with an SDV, however, is, like our phone, create a more personalized experience inside the vehicle. That said, it's important to understand the customer experience and ask ourselves, what they're really looking for. And although that might be different between the buyer of, say, an entry-level sedan versus a six-figure luxury car, the underlying functionality and foundation that would enable those two personalized experiences inside those two different vehicles for two different buyers is the same. For OEMs, this foundation can be transferable across individual brands and vehicle lines to reduce cost and complexity. Perhaps a good visual here is a modular platform or architecture that can accommodate a range of different vehicles, which has benefits for manufacturing. This is kind of like that, but on the software side. While SDVs can deliver a better customer experience, the experts on our in-cabin panel express some common pain points that are still standing in the way, including the unreliability of voice commands. One panelist even said they have given up on trying to use voice commands for placing phone calls or speaking a destination into the navigation system.
I didn't understand you.
That if we want to deliver a better customer experience inside the car, voice activation is a good place to start. The experts on our in-cabin panel also discussed ways in which our digital lives outside the vehicle could become more intertwined, and that an effective execution of that very thing is something future buyers would appreciate. This led to a conversation about convenience, where the car could, in effect, have your phone already saved. If you left your phone at home by mistake, your vehicle's infotainment could function without your phone as your phone. This also led to some creative discussions as well, like in-vehicle gaming, or blocking out the back windows for passengers with a soothing or relaxing background, as if the windows could also function as digital screens. And finally, as described by the Michigan Public Service Commission during a presentation on the Blue Stage, careful planning of the charging infrastructure is paramount. The challenge is determining the placement of future chargers, as they will need to be in areas where people will see them and be able to use them. Data models are being employed to help with that, but it's also a public endeavor, so feedback is important with regard to the charging infrastructure. Link in the show notes for more information on the Michigan Public Service Commission. Reuters Automotive Europe 2025 is set for April 29th and 30th in Stuttgart, Germany. Automotive USA will return to the Motor City starting on October 28, 2025. From the Huntington Place in downtown Detroit at Reuters Automotive USA 2024, I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News Radio.